Karl Jeffs talked about inconsistency in that, but then he talked about how it's just it's a work in progress. How I mean, you got so many new faces. It's hard.
It's crazy. So this year we'll have a new holder, a new snapper, a new kicker, um, new punter. So it's and like a lot of the guys have experience. So like as far as like you got Nick who's kicked in games, you got but nobody's been like a true starter for us. Um, but as far as the field goal stuff's gone, this week alone, um, like Carson Hilbert has missed one field goal out of his 12 that he's attempted this week. As a group, we've hit 21 of 24 in the last 3 days, which is basically what we did all last season. So we thought we were really good last season. So I think we're on a really good upward trend right now. We can't really relax, but we've got some guys that are competing their butts off, and we're close to making decisions on who the starter will be, and we'll figure it out and go from there. But the competition has gotten stiff, and they're all. We started the camp off by 75%. Now we're hitting above 85%. So it's been really good that way.
As a coach, I know you want everything to be perfect, but when you have so many new faces, it's gonna
It's gonna be
start out.
messy to
It's gonna
start.
start
Yeah,
out a little messy, right?
it starts. It's gonna be that way, and we're learning. And for us, for me, really, it's the first time since going to Purdue and then coming back. Like those have been the same guys for the most part. You know what I mean? Like, and this is the first time that we've had guys leave with Shy leaving, and just you lose some of those older people, and they're like, okay, we got to start over with some new faces, and it's been good. It's been good for me to grow and develop as well as for them too.
Coach Punny obviously brought the Australian in.
Yep.
Close to start camp. How's the competition? They've been trying to lock that down. Right?
Niall's been doing a really good job. Glad we got him because we had Jacob Baker transferred in from Eastern Kentucky, and he looked really good, really strong. He got injured partway through the summer, and he's going to be a long recovery. We were excited about the competition between the two of them and having some really good depth there. But we've had Adam Winkenhofer is a walk-on punter for us, and his like he went from being really average to being really good these last few weeks as well. Like this is probably the best camp. This is his third year with us. This is the best camp that he's had. So we've got good competition, and like the Niall's really good. He's really talented.
How would you say that the overall punting has progressed over the start of fall camp? Because Jeff during media day he didn't mince words about saying that the punting needed some improvement.
Yeah. I think it's hard. Like one thing that we don't always take into consideration is when the kid comes from overseas and you're on a 18 to 24-hour flight or flights, your legs are dead for a long time. And so at the beginning of camp, he had a little of that fatigue. He hadn't really worked with any of our guys yet. So there was a lot of new stuff for him to take on. And since then, you're talking 50-yard punts, 55. See, the other day he hit a 63-yard punt. So like he's doing well. There is development. I got to slow my brain down the things that I want to be able to do because he is multifaceted. So we can do a bunch of different stuff. But it's like, hold on, he's a 20-year-old kid who's never played, football here before, and so never played college football. So now we got to get him going in the right direction and making sure that we're all on the same page and not going too fast. And really, we just got to punt the ball down the field. Not trying to get too cute and fancy, and just catch it, get it off, get it down the field, and let the cover guys cover. So
what did he? I mean, how raw was? I mean, when you say don't play college football, what?
All right. So I'm very knowledgeable of the Australian culture. I did live there for a year. My wife and I lived out there, but the Aussie rules football is not like anything we have or anything that like we can compare it to, right? It's like basketball and football and soccer kind of all rolled into one, like 18 guys on a field. And so when they go and their form of passing and scoring is punting. And so that's what they do. And they're getting tackled while they punt. They got guys in their faces while they punt. So they've got Niall especially has experience with that. He grew up playing that, and so he's used to pressure coming at him while he's punting the ball, stuff like that. But now it's a little bit different because it's more focused. It's less just freewheeling and doing whatever you want. You got to fit within the structure of what we're doing, and so that's more of the challenge.
Because we have a guy who comes in prioritizing acclimating with what you say, like, okay, here's kind of something that maybe a little more long term and short term?
Yeah, like a lot of it is just as far as development of a punter is catch the ball, take your steps, be in a rhythm, and get the ball off. This is where we expect you to get it off, and then build off of that. Like, all right, so now the next thing that we do is going to be this, and then we build on that, and like just try to, and then like for the whole grand scheme, we will build around what he's capable of doing, putting guys in different formations and stuff like that. But a lot of times he's got to get used to the time change. He's got to get used to the language. It's not a different language, but like when we lived over there, there was words I'm like, I don't know what fair dinkum means. Like there's like stuff that they say that we don't say, and vice versa. So he had to get. It was good because he was here for like 2 weeks, just hanging out with those guys and kind of getting to know them a little bit personally. And so that was a good way to get started. And then you just gotta like really baby step it. And it's tricky.
I'm not perfect on my history of Louisville long snapper, but it seems like we've had two for the last 7 or 8, 9 years.
Yeah.
Is that? I think that's right. Shy was here for 4.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then before that,
Mitch Hall.
Mitch Hall was here for 4 or 5.
Yeah.
It's a position that has been
solid.
It's difficult, but
Yeah.
it's been really, really solid.
Yeah.
How do you replace that?
We have, I think we have 3 really good long snappers. We've got Hayden Travelstead, Brock's brother, who's been here the longest, and he's played in some games. He played in some games as a freshman. Shy did get dinged up a little bit, so he has a little bit of game experience. He is excellent right now in our field goal snapping. The transfer from Liberty is Ryan Manis. He's like he reminds me of Mitch Hall a lot because he's very analytical about how he approaches the game and how he prepares and all that stuff. He does a really good job. And then we've got a freshman, We have a freshman, Drew Kegabine, who he can rip it back. He's stronger. He's more powerful. He played running back in high school, so he's got some athleticism to him. We just got to kind of focus him into being more analytical and getting, it's because it's the same repetition over and over again, right? Like you're doing the same thing, and being consistent at that is sometimes hard. And so we got to get him more consistent. But we've got, like I said, 3 really talented guys. We might be able to have 1 for field goal, 1 for punt. And
have you ever had that before? Or did you try to get
we try to have the same guy, but at the end of the day, it's for field goal. You want a guy who snaps a catchable ball so it can get down easily for the holder. On punt, you want a guy who's going to get it back with some velocity and it's going to be accurate. Like those are the 2 most important things. And then obviously you want after that, in coverage for punt, you want a guy who's athletic. So it's a balancing act. We've never had to do it before, but I don't think there's a lot of teams that do it. Like I think Ryan 2 years ago at Liberty only snapped field goals. Last year he snapped punts and field goals. So he's been through this before.
The return game, it seems like you guys got a lot of speed, a lot of things to choose from. How's that developing?
Yeah.
Looking at
It's awesome. Coach Barclay does a really good job with the returners. We've got some cool drills that we're doing as far as helping them visually. Like the thing that made Colin Lacey so special last year was he can see everybody and who's in what position for us after he catches the ball. He was able to analyze it like that and then find, all right, here's my seam or my alley that I'm going to take. I'll break a tackle here, whatever. So we've got to develop that. We've got a few guys who are really good at it. Our running back room is loaded, so we're going to use some of those guys. Our wide receiver room, Bryson Scott, corner, he actually returned at Elon last year or 2 years ago, I think. And then Jordan Van, a freshman safety, he actually had like 5 kickoff returns for a touchdown in high school last year. So you've got like talent that you didn't expect sometimes. And so we do have good depth, and it's just a matter of, for us, we like to find a guy who has good vision. Obviously, he's going to catch the ball, right? Who's got good vision and then can break tackles. And so Keywan Brown, I always call him thinking Bama in my head, right? But he did a really good job for us last year before he got a little dinged up. Marquise Davis is really good there. Trey Richardson's so fast, like we could do some stuff with him in return game, and punt and kickoff. Jackson Voth, transfer from Drake. He's like really sure-handed back there for punt returns. We got a good variety of guys that we can choose from right now.
season's coming up soon, but if you guys had to play today, where would you place your confidence level in the overall kicking game, whether it be place kicking, punting, kickoffs, all of that?
I feel great about kickoffs. You got Keller coming back, and so you're going to have a lot of touchbacks, and then our coverage team behind him is really good. Field goal wise, I feel the same as I did last year going in with Cooper. Honestly, like we didn't know what we were going to get after we lost Brock. We didn't know what we were going to get, but we knew he was talented, and so we have the same thing in the room right now. But you got with Hilbert and Garth White and even the freshman Bodie Shopes are all really talented guys. And then you got Keller who can come in and kick, long field goals or whatever we need. So I feel confident about it that, if one guy starts to struggle, then the next guy is going to be ready to go. So I feel like we have a little bit more depth in the room this year than we did last year. It's like like I said, last year we had the same problem. Like, how good is this guy going to be? You never know sometimes until you get out there. But we got some good guys there. And then punting wise, I think Niall's going to be really good after he gets that first punt out. The first punt might be a 5-yard shank, but I think he has the talent to hit it down the field. He can move the ball around. Like I'm pretty excited about it.
What about bowling? That's
Yeah.
kind of something you replace, but still, it's still a very key position.
Yeah, it is. It's such a tricky position too, because you want a guy who's going to take charge of the group, right? They got to get lined up properly. They got to have a sense of urgency, because a lot of times it's like, all right, are we going to kick the field goal, or are we going to go for it or whatever? And so we look back and forth, and also the play clock's running down. So he's got to get out there, get those guys lined up, then turn to the kicker, get the spot and all that stuff. So it's not just catch it, put it down, and make sure there's no laces. So we've tried several guys out there, some quarterbacks, wide receivers, punters is the traditional way to go. And so, I feel confident that we're going to be okay there.
Some rule changes coming in. You were mentioning when you first walked in with the free kick coming back. How much do you anticipate that playing a role in college football this year?
I don't know that the free kick will play a huge role. You got to prepare for it, but I swear they said on TV it was the first time in 50 years when the Chargers did it last year. So, so it doesn't happen a whole lot. You talk about a rare deal. Now it's got to be a punt that's crossed on the other side of the 50-yard line with no time left or 1 second left on the clock. So there's a lot to it that you're like, well, it's good because it's an uncontested field goal, but it's also like it's so rare. But there's so many things that we prepare for that are rare like that. And then the punting rules, like I don't know if the fans will even notice that the punting rules have changed. It's all numbering, and you might hear, hey, this guy is going to be checking in as this number about 4 or 5 times during that one play. You'll hear a bunch of different numbers called out, but like I said, I don't think the fans will notice or anyone will notice anything like that. But it's a lot of extra preparation to help the referees make their lives a little simpler, because those punt formations started getting out of control with guys spread out all over who's eligible, who's not, and all that stuff.
Last year, Jeff mentioned about 3 or 4 games about how much of a weapon the kickoffs are, and the hidden yardage. How did he get better at that? You know what I mean? He did it all last year. How has he improved?
He's more consistent. There would be times last year where, I know. So I went back and I watched 3 kicks, all from the 20-yard line. So whether it was after a safety or after a penalty, whatever it was. And one kick, he hit it, and it was like a line drive knuckler. The next kick, it went a little bit farther. And then the last one against Virginia Tech, after safety, he hit a touchback from 83 yards away. So like that is happening more often now than what it did last year. So like I think you'll see some just more touchbacks, guys running through the end zone, trying to get the crowd going, and all that stuff is our hope.
It is such a weapon, is it not? I mean,
it's crazy. Like you don't have So when I was coaching at Western Kentucky, I was a special teams coordinator there. We had a walk-on kicker who was awesome at placing the ball, but just didn't hit touchbacks. And so I would hold my breath every single time we kicked it, because I was like, please tackle him, because it's such a wide open space. And then you've got he's going full speed this way, he's coming full speed this way. It's a hard tackle to make. And so it was always stressful. And this, you feel a whole lot better. But there's times where we got to be ready. We've got like I said, we've got some really good guys running down. I mean, our defensive depth is awesome. So we're using a lot of those guys on kickoff to go down there make things happen.
About the competition. Can you kind of just real quick tell us about the guys competing? Like what is the strengths of Carson and Garden
Yeah.
and those guys?
Carson's calm, collected. He's got really, really good technique. He's a bigger kid, so the ball jumps off his foot really well. He's probably good from around up to around 55 yards. Not quite as big as leg as Nick, but he's got a big leg. But like I said, he's our most consistent, steady guy right now. Garth has game experience. You know, he's older. Garth, I think he just turned 26. He was bragging about how he's not on his parents' insurance anymore. So he's graduated from USC. He went to Rhode Island and started his master's there, and so he's a more mature guy, a little bit different technique-wise than Carson. But he made a lot of games or a lot of field goals in games last year. And let's be honest, like if you're playing up in Rhode Island, it's windy and bad conditions. So he's game proven. Bodie Shopes is crazy strong and athletic. He took like third in the state of Ohio last year in the 100 meters. Like, man, I mean, he's one of the fastest guys on our team. But he's super competitive, and the ball jumps off his foot really nice too. And he actually started off camp really well. Has fallen a little bit, but he's right in the mix with everybody too. And then obviously with Nick, he's kicking. He lined up from 57 the other day, and he hit the top of the upright. So we're pretty excited about what he can do for us.
You mentioned Colin's vision and just in those kickoffs, obviously is very explosive
Yeah.
there. Do you see someone this year that kind of has that, or how do you kind of cultivate that?
Like I said, Coach Barclay takes the returners, and he's as far as cultivation of it goes. And we have drill work that will simulate blockers being on one side of the guy in coverage or another side, and they have to make cuts off of that at full speed and see it. And it's in a different type of space than we do at running back, but it's similar. Bama's really good. He's really good at it. Like, he just sees seams, stuff like that. Jackson Voth has good vision. Isaac Brown, we've put him back there a few times. He's just different. He was a really good returner in high school as well. And then Trey Richardson can outrun a lot of people, and so we can do some things there to get him moving too.